Hello, biologists. Welcome to lecture number 4. We are going to talk about human evolution. That is the process of Homo sapiens, which is us, evolving from some other ancestor a long time ago, and we'll talk about it. This image being shown right now is us and some of our close relatives. We are Homo sapien. Our genus is Homo, our species is sapien, so Homo sapien. We're practicing using our binomial nomenclature. And then we have 3 of the other species in our genus that have existed but do not currently exist. We have Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and Homo neanderthalensis. So all in our genus, but not the same species as us. And then at the front or left side, we have someone that's not in our same genus, but still is a human lineage species. And so this is Australopithecus afarensis. So not the same genus, but in our human lineage. I know human evolution is a topic that may give you lots of thoughts and feelings. So if you have those, please email me and we can talk about it. I care very much about your opinion and your experience in this class. So let's get into it. The first thing we want to do is look at a taxonomic table. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this genus and species, Homo sapien, and we're going to break it down based on every single grouping in taxonomy. So our kingdom is Animalia. We are animals, which means we are eukaryotic, we are heterotrophic. If those words feel super unfamiliar, please feel free to review in your textbook. Those are from 211. And we are in the phylum Chordata, which means that we have a notochord. In us, it looks like a spinal cord. It's a connector from our brain to all the nerves in our body, runs down our back. Not all Chordata have spinal cords, but that's what it is for us. We are in the class Mammalia, which means that we have hair and that we produce milk for our young, and we are warm-blooded. So we're warm, fuzzy milk drinkers, which is Mammalia. And we are in the order primates. So primates are creatures with 5 fingers, 5 toes. They have opposable thumbs. You have forward-facing eyes instead of eyes kind of on the side, like a deer. And our claws have turned into flat nails. So that's something about primates. We also have bicuspid teeth, which is pretty cool. Our family is in the Hominidae. That means we do not have a tail. We have relatively large bodies, which we do, and our arms are longer than our legs, except in humans. Our arms and legs are pretty much the same size. Our genus is Homo, which means that we are bipedal. Bi means 2, pedal refers to feet. So bipedal means that we walk on 2 feet. Others in our group are not bipedal, but can be temporarily bipedal, but then it's more of like a waddle. Like you've probably seen a dog walk on its hind legs. It's possible, but it's not its base state. So for us, that's a unique trait to our genus, is that we're bipedal as our base state. We also have flat faces, and we have S-shaped spines. So if you look in the side view, it kind of looks like the shape S, which is to help us distribute our weight because we are bipedal. And then the last thing about us is our species, Homo sapien. Homo sapiens are unique because we have smaller teeth. We cook our food, we cut it up into little bits. We don't need to gnaw it off the bone anymore. We have large cerebral cortex. The cerebral cortex is the portion of your brain where you do thinking and higher order functions like speech and emotion and feelings. And we also bury our dead ceremonially, which is interesting, but we are not exclusively the only organism to do that on Earth. I like showing you the taxonomic table, not just so we can practice that skill, because we want to be thinking about how organisms fit into our ecosystems when we think about evolution and ecology, but also because it makes us think about the fact that we are an organism on Earth. We are not removed from everything else around us. We fit into these categories with a whole bunch of other things. Check out this phylogenetic tree. This is the phylogenetic tree for primates. Take a moment to look at it and then answer these two questions. You can go ahead and pause the video if you want. Did you say that chimpanzees are the sister group to humans? If you did, you're correct. Chimpanzees and humans, Homo sapiens, share about 98.8% of their DNA. We both have opposable thumbs. We have those nails instead of claws. We are bipedal, they are not. But we have a lot of things in common. One of them is flexible and mobile shoulders. So that's something that both us and our sister group have. And then who did you say was the outgroup? If you said lemurs, lorises, and others, you are correct. So whoever is furthest from the connector point to the group you're thinking about, that is your outgroup. Here we have a tree showing us the divergence between the human lineage, which is on the top, and the other great ape lineage, which is on the bottom. So the human lineage is hominini. Another group could be hominids, but that's a larger group, so the hominini. And we have this branching between us and the great apes about 9 to 8 million years ago. So a long time ago. Whatever this creature was, it was not a chimpanzee or a gorilla or a bonobo, which you can see on the end there, because these organisms are still currently alive today. So it wasn't necessarily a great ape, but it was some organism that both us and great apes came from. So you did not come from monkeys, but you share a common ancestor with monkeys, which is cool because if you look back far enough, you share a common ancestor with cats, you share a common ancestor with fungus, you share a common ancestor with trees. Like we are all related, which I think is a really beautiful idea. Up at the top, we have our time scale, millions of years. We have some outgroups. Then we have another one. Then we have Australopithecus. And then around 2 million years ago, we have our first Homo. So the first species in our genus evolves. We think it might be one of these little friends here. They're putting Homo habilis first, but this is not a complete table. This doesn't show all of the species in our genus. Going to millions of years ago being 0, that's current time. Homo sapien is the only one that's still in existence. So we are what you call a monotypic species. We are the only species in our genus. Here's another way to look at the timeline of human evolution, hominin evolution. We've got 400 million years ago, so we're not going all the way back to the divergence between us and great apes, so only to our human group. And then down here we have today. The length of the bar shows you how long this organism was alive. So Australopithecus afarensis lived a nice long time. I mean, almost 1 million years, pretty impressive. Then there are ones that had shorter occurrences. So this Australopithecus species did not have a very long period of time on this earth. The difference in color is the genus. So Australopithecus is orange, and then blue is Homo. So these are all our different species in our genus. So Homo nideli had a very long reign, started 3.5 million years ago and went almost all the way till now, but probably 0.5 million years ago is when they went extinct. I like that these bars kind of fade out instead of having a hard edge, because it wasn't like there was an extinction event. They just kind of pittered out. So Homo habilis, very exciting. Homo erectus, very long time as well. And then we have us, where we popped up pretty recently, and we are the only one that makes it to that green line saying today. So we are the only one of our species, the only species in our genus that's still extant and not extinct. extant being still alive. Here's another phylogenetic tree because we want to practice our skills. In this phylogenetic tree, you can see Homo sapien on the far right, and then who is our sister group? It's Homo erectus. This is really cool because over on the other side, we have Australopithecus, so not the same genus. And what I really like about this tree is that all 5 of us are bipedal. Pretty exciting, but we're not all the same. Go ahead and look at those skulls from left to right and see what changes. To me, the most distinctive things are those teeth. So our teeth get a lot smaller. Australopithecus has these nice, pretty intense ape-like teeth. And then the size of the cranium. The cranium is the part of your skull where your brain sits. So this is your cranium up here. Smaller cranium, and then getting larger, 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 and then we've got this massive cranium. It's pretty cool. Looking at these cranial fossils and these skeletal fossils, we can organize the 2 different pictures I showed you kind of on top of each other. So the first one was the length of the time that your species existed. And we're starting at 4 million years going to today. So they have flipped the axis. Make sure you always double check the axes so you know what's happening in your graphs and tables. And it also has the fossils. So this is neat because we think that Homo erectus down here was the ancestor to us, Homo sapiens, and our closest other in our genus, which is Homo neanderthalis, so like our cousin. We think that because Homo erectus was generally larger, like robust, was tall, hence erectus, and had a relatively large brain case, a brain cranium, compared to others around the time. So that's why we think that. There are some folks who think that Homo habilis is the ancestor to Homo sapiens and Neanderthalensis. And those folks think that because Homo habilis was the first to use fire about 500,000 years ago, and Homo habilis also hunted large game with spears, which we think of as a very human behavior. So that's an idea. Homo erectus is the more accepted one. What do you think is going on with all these gray spots? It's gaps in our fossil record. We did not get the full skull for this organism. So we can predict what we think the shape would be based on the curvature of what's there. But we're trying to fill in the blanks. Unlike here, the Homo sapiens skull, that's complete. We've seen a lot of those. So we're hoping to find more of these so we can put everything together a little bit better. Here we have a comparison of the brain capacity in centimeters, that's down the x-axis, excuse me, and then the millions of years ago that these organisms were alive on the y-axis, with the oldest being 4 million and the newest being 0, that's today. What's the trend you see in brain capacity? It's getting bigger, right? So if you were to put a best fit line, it would go right across here. The newer you are, the larger brain capacity you have. The older you are, the smaller brain capacity you have, which is pretty cool because humans are a very unique organism. And one of the things that makes us so intelligent and impressive and able to manipulate our environment, create technologies, increase our lifespan is related to our capacity to think and create. So that's our brain. Here we have the family tree for the major groups of humans. And down here would be our original group that we branched off of. And then we have 6 million years ago up to today. This is being really literal with the tree idea. And what I like about this is they've taken an artist's rendering of what they think our faces would have looked like. So you can see that the fur is decreasing around the face as we get closer to Homo sapien. That's something interesting. So these groups, Homo neanderthalis and us, we have less fur all over our face than some of the groups down here from older, longer ago. It's also cool because we always say phylogenetic tree, and I kind of think it was fun that they literally made it a tree, but the branching events are the same. So each of these branching events represents a node and a common ancestor that was here. So if I wanted to apply traits to this tree, I could apply like bigger brain and less hair over to this branch. And, you know, bipedal would be down here because we are all bipedal. The original human Homo sapien that existed in the world, we think was from sub-Saharan Africa. We call this the out of Africa hypothesis. So humans, Homo sapiens, were living in the continent of Africa, but below the Sahara. So sub-Saharan Africa, probably around 400 or 300,000 years ago. And then something happened in 200,000 years that caused humans to migrate. So I'm saying humans, but I mean Homo sapiens. At this time, there were other Homo species in existence. So Homo neanderthalis, a couple of other different species, but Homo sapien then migrated out of Africa, hence the name out of Africa hypothesis, to the other places in the world, and then stayed there and made a little lives there. And all of our phenotypic surface level differences like skin color or eye color or nose are in response to adapting to our environments, but we are all the same species still. One of the good evidences we have that the out of Africa hypothesis is true is by looking at the age of the fossils we're finding. So here in sub-Saharan Africa, you see a lot of red. Red is Australopithecus, which is older than Homo sapien. And up here, where you see a lot of the blue and the pink, those are the more recent Homos. So Homo sapien and Homo neanderthalis, which migrated out. So the older fossils are found in the location that we assume they evolved, and then we moved outward and kind of took over the globe as we do. Cool. I have a lot of really interesting videos and resources in the lecture section for this week, so I hope you watch them and enjoy them. And as always, if you have questions, please email me. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you have a great day.